Hello, and welcome to episode 43 of Inside the Video Store. Thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in for the first time, again, thank you for finding me, us, this thing, whatever it is. And welcome to a little look inside one of the last remaining video stores, movie rental stores in the UK. This is Snips Movies. What have we got to say? Well, it's very exciting. I've just been having a complete nerdgasm over stickers. What's been going on recently? Obviously, you can see a brand new thing right next to me. This is a new fixture. We're starting to move a few things around and starting to build a few new things. This is my new Jess Franco and Jean Rollin section, which I've just installed the past few days. Those two used to live up there somewhere, but it's time has come for them to come down here. And then today in the post we've got all these. You can't see them from where you are, but if I hold them up, it's like 120 little stickers. There's MVD Rewind Collection. There's Mondo Macabro. What else we got? Bit of Massacre Video. Bit of VHS Hit Fest, bit of everything. But yeah, we got 30 different stickers. Saturn's Core, Visual Vengeance. What else we got? Got Severin, got Vestron, we got Distripix, we got Cinematography. Still can't pronounce it. The just on the Liberty label, it's got a little sticker as well. Loads, 30 stickers for all little indie labels. And what we're going to do, when we shift all the imports and all the boutiques from where I am here and add more to it, then I've got these little section dividers here, which they've got wrapped in plastic at the moment, to quote Jack Nance. And then so they'll just go in here like that. So a little section divider, and what you'll have is a sticker. So one side Visual Vengeance, on the other side, I don't know, TerraVision, or I don't know what works really, but both the same size. But either way, these will be little genre dividers. So you have 30 of these all down the main aisle there, all divided. So when people walk in, it won't be kind of the bland, mainstream, mundane movies that you can get anywhere for streaming subscription. It'll be all the weird stuff, all the weird and wonderful stuff that all the great boutique labels are putting out. So yeah, we've got 30 of these little dividers, loads of stickers, so we're going to make a nice fresh new section there inside the next few weeks. But we'll tell you more about that next week, because our friend Jake is coming over, who you may know from episode 1, 2 and 3. And he's going to do some camera work, and we're going to have a little walk around and discuss what's going where and things like that. So what's been going on this week? Well, I had a great little interview in the Liverpool Echo this week. A good little interview with a young lady who was really interested about what we're doing over here. So that was cool. However, Mr. Guy from down south, Mr. TVL All-Star Video in Haverhill, this one story has just gained so much momentum. I mean, he gave the story on Boxing Day, I think it was, and still 12 days later, it pops up on Lad Bible on their Insta account. I mean, you think to yourself, well, Dave, does it really matter? Well, I mean, I'm made up for the guy. I'm pleased he's getting so much publicity, which is fantastic. However, it's just frustrating that the headline reads the UK's last and only DVD rental shop. It kind of annoys me that, because if you think of say Lad Bible, who picked up the story this week, they have 14.3 million Instagram followers. 14.3 million. Now think how many of those followers are in the Merseyside, Cheshire region. They're going to read that story and say, well, that's the last guy. That's the last guy. So it's almost like It's like boxing this place off, so they don't remain open-minded that there might be somewhere else. If it was an accurate headline, and it said, one of the last remaining, and the others are in, Bristol, Wirral, Ayr, etc., etc., then that would be accurate and it would kind of be quite nice. But the way it's being worded is really frustrating. But we had some fun yesterday because I did an Insta appeal for loads of my followers to spam the Lad Bible comment section on that post with this store and tagging this store in it. So that added a fair few extra followers, and I got a few messages overnight asking where precisely this store was and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's great. And to be honest, it has been I am a bit cheeky, to be honest. It has been a ridiculously busy week, to be honest, with loads of new customers who have never been in before. So it's been really exciting, but it's just sticking in my craw a little bit with regard to the wording of this headline. But never mind. All things are good. Right, what I'm going to do today, a little bit of a strange one. I'm short of time, as I always am, so I'm going to split this into two recordings, seamlessly joined. In fact, if I hadn't even said there were two recordings, you would not guess. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do the usual kind of show first, and then we're going to come in and do what's in the box tomorrow morning, because we have got a massive Warner archive delivery of 57 titles. We're going to run through those one by one, and but first we'll get all the daily today stuff out the way. And first things first, you wouldn't believe it, but the delivery just arrived about 5 minutes before I started recording this. Not that it's really worth mentioning, but it is the first week in January, traditionally a very, very quiet week. Remember, we haven't had a brand new release in since the 16th of December. Save for one single Russell Crowe DVD. But yeah, it's starting to warm up. This is the first week of new releases, which is cool. As like I said, there's not many. There's nothing to kind of get you running in your Lycra to the rental store to hurriedly rent it out. Well, I mean, who in their right mind would want Donald Trump, for example? Aren't we going to have enough of him over the next 4 years? But yes, the lead title is certainly The Apprentice, from the director of Holy Spider, weirdly enough. I don't know how this is pitched, I don't know how he is portrayed, but yeah, it's about, well, it starts off in the 70s, I think, and kind of traces the story from there on in. So I don't really know much about it. I've got a bit of interest actually from a few customers who are keen to watch it, but personally I could not, even though it's not even him, I could not stand to watch anything regarding his life. So that is that. That was The Apprentice, which is the key film. I probably should have got more than one, but I couldn't bear to be honest. Next up, this looks really interesting to me. It's got fantastic reviews. It's called Oddity. It's a Shudder original. I picked it up on both Blu-ray and DVD. I think it's Irish. And yeah, it's about Danny, who's brutally murdered at the remote country house that she and her husband Ted are renovating. Everyone suspects a patient from the local mental health institution where Ted is a doctor. And a year later, Danny's blind twin sister Darcy, a self-proclaimed psychic and collector of cursed items, familiar tale, pays an unexpected visit to Ted and his new girlfriend, and much horror ensues. It has got absolutely staggeringly good reviews, to be honest. So I don't normally pick up two Shudder originals, but as Shudder isn't exactly the prime destination for most people with streaming, it's probably worth this pair. I reckon that'll do well on DVD and Blu-ray, so quite excited about this. And the third and final release of the week is Beazle, The Blind Witch Waits. New England. sinister secret dwelling beneath its floors. I don't know much about this. It looks a little bit of a low-budget horror. But hey, there's no harm in that. But it was just a kind of, it was a week that was thin on the ground, and I kind of sensed the idea that some of my customers were keen to chomp at some new releases after a while. So yeah, they were the three I got in. We have got one more to come in, which is a kind of boutique / contemporary release from Arrow Video, which is Rampo Noir, Asian film, I think, or is it Indonesian? But either way, that should be in hopefully at the end of the week, and I will feature it on next week's show. So that is this week's new releases. What's been renting out, I hear you cry? What indeed? Well, it's been a remarkably eclectic week of films renting out, which thrilling to watch. I mean, as always, I don't know if you're familiar or not with the show, but I kind of rent out in the region of 200 to 300 films a week, sometimes more, and I tend to pick 7 or 8 of those to highlight the diversity of what people have been renting in that time. First up is one of my favourite films of all time. It's an Alan Clark film, British film. It is Billy the Kid and the Green Bay's Vampire. It's the best snooker orientated musical you will see. Tough, yeah. Not much competition, but it's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. I love this film to bits. Phil Daniels and Alan Armstrong are brilliant. Bruce Payne is superb as well. 85, is it? I think it was 85. And I posted this on Instagram, funnily enough, when someone rented it. Rebecca, it was. I posted on Instagram, I said, oh, this is the coolest rental of the day. And it was. And someone commented, I forget who it was, but one of the guys commented had been commissioned by Network, who released this, just prior to them going under, to record the audio commentary for the Blu-ray release. So it's kind of a, look at what you could have won moment in the fact that this was scheduled to come out on Blu-ray, but sadly Network went under. So hopefully, Old Gold Media, who seems to have taken the reins of much of Network's catalogue, hopefully they will get around to releasing it on Blu-ray, because that would be absolutely superb. This one out this week, away we go, which is really cool to see. Sam Mendes, I think, directed this, didn't he? Yeah, from the director of American Beauty. I really like this film. I think it's so cool. John Krasinski, Maya Rudolph, Jeff Daniels, Catherine O'Hara, good cast, and just a really funny, nice film, uplifting. Got so many people coming in for uplifting, nice, pleasant films these days, and I don't really have many new ones like that. All the nice and uplifting ones tend to be crowd pleasers and tend to stick on streaming sites. I just tend to get the morbid and kind of bleak films sent in here, but that's fine. I like bleak and morbid. But yeah, this is a pleasing crowd pleaser. Away we go. Nice to see that renting out. Mark has finally got his hands on Dinner in America. I mentioned this a few times over the last 40 episodes or so, and that it didn't really do much when it came out for the filmmakers, but since it was made back in 2020, 5 years on now, it's gradually gathered momentum to such a degree that here it seems to be permanently out on loan. Another one of those hundreds of beavers situations. And it's doing so well, and I know Mark has been after it for quite some time, but it's always been out on loan, much to his chagrin. But finally, it is in, and he's got it, and it's cool to see it's going out one more time, which is brilliant. I haven't even had a chance to see it myself yet. I haven't been able to get my hands on it, unfortunately. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or Blue Sky, but every day I like to do a bit of movie roulette. I've got an online database which you can search on Facebook or Instagram. You can, when you're in the middle of the night and you're watching something and a film comes into your mind that hasn't come into your mind for years, and you think, oh, I'd love to watch that film, and you go to justwatch.com and you type it in, and it's not there and no one's streaming it. Well, you can check out my database. You can punch in whatever film you want, and just to check if I have it in store. And if I don't, let me know, because I might want to get it in. But yeah, I pulled up the DVD of this, which is called something completely different. I forget what. The Lucio Fulci film. And yeah, Jake was in this week and he rented it. Massacre Time, Lucio Fulci Western on Blu-ray, which is really, really cool. It's I forget the name of it. But yeah, anyway, different. I've got the DVD under a different title, and as part of the Wild East collection, which is kind of a bit of a shaky label, not always the best quality releases, but still, they have got a lot of spaghetti westerns out there, and that's the most important thing. So it's great to have those here, even though they're not always in the best condition. So when Jake brought it up to the counter, it was quick to mention to him that I did have that film, the Brute and the something, on Blu-ray, and he's got on Blu-ray, which is cool. Exorcist 2. I did try and talk the pleasant, I think there were a couple, pleasant young pair out of this when they rented it the other day, but sadly they insisted on renting it. Exorcist 2, crazy. So yeah, just to prove that this film does have a following, they were determined to rent it. I think one of them had seen it and the other one hadn't. But either way, they were absolutely committed to renting it, and I said that there will be no refunds. So, pays your money, takes your choice. After, you wouldn't believe it, would you? I mean, all the films we have here, 17,300, and 2 copies of After Hours rent out on the same day. 2 copies of After Hours, both to people under the age of 20. I mean, that's the best thing about this job, seeing young people, voracious appetite for films and renting stuff that is just, well, the classics. I mean, this film is going to be 40 years old this year. So, they were minus 20 when when it came out. So it's really cool for them to be intrigued and have a film like this on their respective lists of stuff to watch. So it's really, really thrilling that both copies of After Hours should go on the same day, and both to young people, which is fantastic. One of my customers saw Green Room lately, and they came in to ask specifically for Blue Ruin, which I was delighted to help them out with. So yeah, they're in for a treat when they sit down and watch Blue Ruin, which is a fantastic film by Jeremy Saulnier. And believe it or not, the lady who rented it, also a little bit of a Masonic handshake. She said, "Have you seen Murder Party?" I mean, Murder Party is a classic. I mentioned Murder Party before on the show because it's not streaming. You can't watch it, and the DVD from Revolver in this country is well out of print. I do have it to rent, but kind of the mystique of Murder Party and the rarity of Murder Party is about to vanish because, of course, it is coming out on Blu-ray sometime this year, which is great, though, because more people deserve to see that, much in the way they deserve to see Blue Ruin as well. Intruder as well went out, which is absolutely fantastic. I love this film. I saw it myself recently again because I was prepping a full moon commentary for 88 Films. And this is one of the first films that Full Moon acquired prior to becoming Full Moon, kind of in the gap between Empire and Full Moon. But it's a great movie. Scott Spiegel, Sam Raimi is acting in it as well, so that's cool. So that is what has been going out on loan this week. What you doing? A couple of comments. Yeah, a quick trip through the comments. Then we'll get on to the Warner Archive releases. Lee Mon, Happy New Year. It is a Happy New Year. Glad to see the show back. Here's to a great year stuffed full of fabulous physical media. Yes, indeed. I'm sure it will be. Rob Stringer, thank God, says Rob. I was just wondering what I could watch instead of starting work. Here to help. Wild6215 says, I would see more classic films and quality films if I had a rental shop near me. I'm sure you would. I'm sure people do kind of reluctantly fall into the trap of just watching crap, just because their access to classic films is restricted and obviously, a lot of the time, paywalled. Skulder says, can't wait for next week's episode with the Warner Archive unboxing. Very soon, very soon. Bit of a fan of Warner Archive. It's the second fastest growing section in my collection. Nice. I think it's the fastest growing section here at Snips, but more about that in approximately 5 minutes time. Rob also says that The Big Picture is the podcast with Tracy Letts, hosted by Sean Fennessy. It was me that recommended it to you, you bastard. Sorry, Rob. I unfairly gave Brian credit, but I did hear Brian mention it as well. But you were first. You were first. Tom Jollis says the boutique section of his nearest HMV has expanded recently, which is great to see. I just wish we had the same amount of Criterion sales in the UK that it tends to get in the US. Yeah, they do have some great Criterion sales in the US, and more frequently, don't they? Which is a little frustrating, but you know, all good things come to those who wait, I guess. James says, I live in Bristol and we still have a rental store called 20th Century Flicks. I know, we're great friends with them. Good friends. They started out in 1982. Indeed, they did. And yeah, they have the largest rentable library in the UK with 21,000 films. In second place, I'm coming for you. Largest rental library in the UK. Coming 2026. Rangers Review says, hi Dave, how come you worked at Blockbuster when your dad had a video shop? And what, if anything, did you learn there that you start getting an edge over them? I finished university. I wanted to become a teacher because I'm an idiot. Then I gradually regained my senses. I got a part-time job just to give me a few quid, and it ended up I went for 2 interviews. I've only had 2 job interviews in my life, and both of them I got. And I both had the interviews on the same day. One was for a Virgin Megastore, and one was for Blockbuster Video. They both offered me the job. I turned down Virgin, and I said yes, please, to Blockbuster. And I just had a crazy rise, to be honest. I started at Blockbuster as a part-time CSR, as they're called, on 10 hours a week. And in 6 months, I was a store manager, which is a bit weird, to be honest. I don't know why I managed to get to that level so quickly. So yeah, store manager for Blockbuster lasted for 5 years. And I'd never had any conversation with my dad about coming into the business and joining the business, because at the time it was just a video store. It was primarily VHS and literally 200 VHS, and that was all we had. Yeah, my dad kind of dabbled. He was pushing 60, and it was the kind of thing, well, he'll retire and then he'll sell the shop and that'll be it. But as my time at Blockbuster continued, I just thought, well, you can do something with this, and it could be really, really cool. And Blockbuster are trying to do everything they possibly can to screw it up, certainly with maintaining any kind of archive or any kind of respect for films. So I just had a conversation with my dad after 5 years of Blockbuster and said, why don't we try this? Anyway, Del Bongo says, £1.67. Dave, you need to raise your prices. No, I will never raise my prices. These prices have been the same for 20 years, and they will remain the same for another 20 years. 3 films for £5 for 1 week. That's it. £1.67 per film, or if you want an individual film, it's £2.50. That's fair. I make enough money on that, and that's fine. The main thing is we need people watching films. You put prices up, it means that people aren't as inclined to watch movies, and we don't want that. So we want as much freedom and as much ease for people of all incomes to be able to watch great movies. So no, I will never increase prices. Whilst we got, streamers are getting worse, says Tom Jolliffe. Overwhelmed with different streamers, the prices rise, the choices seems to drop, and the experience gets worse. Yes, it does. So come to your local video store. Yeah, that might be a tricky one. Anyway, I think it might be time to do our mega rundown of 57 new additions to the Warner Archive section. Seamless. Seamless, that transition was. Absolutely seamless. Welcome to the morning in Wirral, a frosty, snowy morning in Wirral. So we're going to have a quick look at some Warner Archive additions. It's 9:30. Store opens at 10, so we've got about half an hour to do this. We're going to have about 30 seconds per title, in my estimation. As you know, Warner Archive, I just absolutely love that label. I just love that label. Just the diversity of the releases from the 30s, 40s, right up to the present day. And I just think there's it's just wonderful mining this vast archive and seeing such films I just almost forgotten about in some respects, and some that aren't. And it's great. So let's have a look at the Blu-rays. I've got 13. It was 15 or 13. Nevertheless, so these are the Blu-rays that came in. A lot of them are upgrades. Gene Hackman, Night Moves, which I think has just got a Criterion announcement, hasn't it? But nevertheless, it's a fantastic film directed by Arthur Penn, of course. One of Gene Hackman's great films. Jacques Tourneur is a strong presence in this haul. I've got 5 of his on DVD, and this is the Blu-ray. A great day in the morning. Great day in the morning. Just an amazing director, really. An absolute icon. But it's amazing the work he did. He was so prolific. Everyone thinks of the kind of Night of the Demon and Walk with the Zombie and that kind of stuff that he put out as horror films. But there's so many dramas that he did for Warner's and RKO. It's really interesting to get some of those in. I think many of my customers will be interested in renting those. Great nod to Jeff Burr, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's the irony with Warner Archive. In one hand you get Great Day in the Morning, and the other hand you get Leatherface TCM 3 with a Jeff Burr commentary, no less, which is great. Sparkle, I saw the other night, really enjoyed it. Kind of like a proto Dreamgirls, written by Joel Schumacher, no less. The Great Waste, we all love a good comedy, and Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis. Directed, of course, by Blake Edwards, who I've kind of been turned on to late in life, to be honest. I didn't really appreciate stuff like SOB and Victor Victoria until recently, and they're all absolute works of art. So Great Race is an excellent addition. The Thing, just been working on a film, on an audio commentary that has a strong relationship with The Thing, and so I had to go back and revisit the originally. I spoke to the filmmaker who directed the film that we're commentating on, and he said The Thing was a huge inspiration for him. So I thought, well, I had the DVD, but rewatched it again, and it's just an absolute icon in film. Customer asked me for this a few months back. Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, so that's why this is here. Then we have some Michael Cimino. Michael Cimino, underrated director. Is that true? It'd be great to see the one he did early 90s, Desperate Hour, maybe? Desperate Hours? I forget. But that's kind of been absent in the UK for quite some time. But I'd be keen to have that. I think it showed up on one of Brian's podcasts quite recently. But I haven't seen that film. I'd like to see it. But in the meantime, I got Year of the Dragon in, which a few of my customers have spotted lurking on the counter and said that they're thrilled that I got that in on Blu-ray, and that they're looking forward to watching it. It's got an audio commentary on there by Michael Cimino, and of course the screenplay is co-written by Oliver Stone. I got a recent Warner Archive release from only a few months back, as Money Talks with Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen, directed by Brett Ratner, who I think did the Rush Hour films, didn't he? Bit of Neil Simon, bit of Richard Dreyfuss, and a David Gates theme tune. You can't go wrong, can you? Wasn't this a thing? I'm making it up. Wasn't this a thing where it won? Yeah, didn't Dreyfuss win Best Actor for this? And wasn't there someone the same year, maybe Robert De Niro for Taxi Driver or something that he, just one of those stupid. I hate the Oscars anyway, a load of rubbish in my estimation. But it's just one of those Oscar scenarios whereby the wrong person won. I love Richard Dreyfuss, though, obviously. A bit of Francis Ford Coppola, early movie. The Rain People. What I got? James Caan and Robert Duvall. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But that's a recent addition to the Warner Archive. Came out on Blu-ray last year, as is this one, which is Stand and Deliver. It's not the biopic of Adam and the Ants. It is, in fact, a kind of inspirational teacher story that stars Edward James Olmos and Lou Diamond Phillips and Andy Garcia. So it's a nice little snatch of blues, I reckon. There's more on their way. A lot of the recent horror releases that have come out from Warner Archive are on their way over from America. I'm trying to think what came in. Or what's out, but it's all the stuff that came out in October, and there's some great stuff announced this year, isn't there? I mean, wow, some of the Blu-rays that are coming out, some of the TV series. I'm kind of tempted. I don't do TV really, but I'm kind of tempted to dabble in some of those archive Western TV shows from the 50s and 60s, like the one with Roger Moore, The Alaskans. Really curious to pick stuff like that up. It's not particularly expensive either, really, considering the sheer volume of material that's in each set. I'm also keen to pick up some of the animated shows that are coming out this year, like Don't Tell Your Father is one. There's a new Tom and Jerry set, the CinemaScope set is it, that looks really, really exciting, and also Looney Tunes Volume 4, which I've got the first 3 volumes, and they're just absolutely outstanding. So over the next 12 months, I think Warner Archive will definitely expand, and it's already a hub, it's already a focus for many people in the store, so I think we shall build upon that. But next week, as I was saying before, we'll have a closer look at just what's going on down there. So they're the Blu-rays. Let's move on to the 30 or so, 45 DVDs. Okay, let's have a go. So like I say, these have come from Movie Zing in America, who occasionally trade as oldies.com and other names. They've always been a great website to use. I've used them a good half a dozen times now. Reliable. They ship very, very quickly. I mean, these 57 discs, they were shipped within 24 hours, which is just ridiculous. Great tracking, always responsible, about a 10-day delivery from America. And they're great, and these sales that they do, I think it works out, I think the DVDs cost me about £9 each, which is good, and the Blu-rays are about £13 each. And considering they're films that the majority of which have never been released in this country, nor are they likely to, then I think it's just a necessity that you have to go out your way and trawl through 3,000 Warner Archive movies on their database to pick these up. Because it's one of those dreams I've had, usually nightmares, but mainly dreams, whereby I've always wanted to stock a vast Warner Archive section, and I think we're gradually moving into the right territory. So quickly, we have about 20 seconds on each of these. Saw this the other night, Americathon, which is just crazy. It's directed by Neil Israel, who I think directed the first Police Academy film, or certainly wrote it. And this has got a great cast in it, just a crazy cast. Harvey Korman, Fred Willard, Peter Riegert, John Ritter, and you've also got Meatloaf in there. You've also got Elvis Costello in there. And it's just a satire on a debt-ridden America that has to stage a telethon to pay its bills. And it's patchy, like any comedy is patchy. But there's some very good aspects of it, and I must admit, overall, I did enjoy it a great deal. This I really enjoyed. One of my young customers asked me for this, and as it happened, I just ordered it. It has had a British release on DVD, but it's currently out of print and fetching in excess of £20. Directed by the great Ernest Dickinson. This is a brilliant survival thriller called, of course, Surviving the Game. You got Ice-T, you got Rutger Hauer, a very evil Rutger Hauer, Charles S. Dutton, John C. McGinley, William McNamara, and Gary Busey, and F. Murray Abraham. It's a great 90s thriller that perhaps hasn't had this level of stature that it deserves. What do we have? We have Richard Widmark and Oliver Reed in The Sellout, a film by Peter Collinson, which looks like immense fun. We have some Bette Davis, Carl Malden, and Peter Lawford. But yeah, this was post Baby Jane, and it was directed by the Paul Heinrich, who was Bette Davis's Now Voyager co-star. So this is kind of some of the commentaries they've got. I've got a great commentary on here from the author of a Bette Davis book. So some of the Warner Archive discs kind of get shrugged off as being bare bones, but never been aware of the concept of Alan King. But here he is, starring in a rare lead role with Annie McGraw, and a few of these will qualify for this kind of thing, but this is a Sidney Lumet film. I've a vast Sidney Lumet section with about 20 to 30 of his movies in, but I haven't got this one, so it's really exciting to kind of fill that gap. And there's a few other directors here that are really well-known directors whose films are only exclusively available through Warner Archive. So yeah, this Sidney Lumet film, I don't think it's one of his finest by all accounts, but it's a comedy, and it sounds really, really cool, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to that. I might take that home tonight, actually. We have The Eyes of Charles Sand, Peter Haskell, Barbara Rush, Adam West, and Joan Bennett. This one is from 1972. TV movie, aired in February 1972, and it was actually the pilot for a proposed feature-length TV series, but that never transpired. We have a very, very effective-looking serial killer movie called The Todd Killings here. Fact-based drama, we're saying, with a great supporting cast that has Ed Asner, Barbara Bel Geddes, Gloria Graham, and Robert F. Lyons playing the protagonist, so that looks pretty cool. Black Eye is a little bit of blaxploitation with Fred Williamson, directed by Jack Arnold, no less. Jack Arnold, the famous creature feature director, so that's pretty cool. Always good to have some more blaxploitation. Snow Devils is one of these weird sci-fi Italian films that Warner picked up. It's directed by Antonio Margheriti, here using his pseudonym Anthony Dawson. I don't know what to make of this, really. I think there's 3 that exist, isn't it, that kind of use this this sci-fi trope with Antonio Margheriti at the helm. And I picked up 2. I don't know why I didn't get the 3rd, but nevertheless, just a great when a Himalayan weather station is smashed to smithereens by creatures who leave supersized footprints, suspicion falls on abominable snowmen, as it often does. This is one from my youth. I think I did catch it. I think this played at the multiplex, believe it or not. It's John Irvin's film. It's Head Above Water. Jim Wilson's film, rather. Head Above Water with Harvey Keitel, Cameron Diaz, Craig Sheffer, great hair, and Billy Zane. It's a comedy, and Harvey Keitel doesn't really do comedy. But from what I recall, it's maligned, but unfairly so. So I'm quite keen on watching that one again. It's been a long, long time since I saw that. That's Head Above Water. The great Donald Sutherland, who we lost last year, is an icon, and Paul Mazursky directed that. Who was I listening to who was saying that we need a Paul Mazursky box set from the 70s? Anyway, they're right. And this has a commentary by the great man himself. But yeah, we don't have much Paul Mazursky represented in this store, and we could do with changing that while we're off for time. We have 11 minutes, that's quite scary. The Split, Gordon Fleming, another little bit of blaxploitation shot by Bernard Guffey, who shot Bonnie and Clyde. Angus is one of those seminal coming-of-age films from the 90s. I know you'll probably remember it well. The VHS of it, when we first opened here in 1995, the VHS it was permanently on loan. It stars, of course, George C. Scott and Kathy Bates. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that. That is Angus. Really thrilled to have that. We have Ringo, he has his golden pistol. Mark Damon, who later went on to be a big shot producer, stars in the spaghetti western, which I'm not that familiar with, but it is directed by Sergio Corbucci, so I mean that's a reason for celebration enough. More Donald Sutherland, because who can resist some more Donald Sutherland? This is Steelyard Blues, where he stars with Jane Fonda, no less. Wonderful. Now again, this is another filler of an icon who I kind of have most of their work, but there's always one or two bits missing. This is Larry Cohen. Larry Cohen didn't direct it, but he did co-write it. It's directed actually by Mark Robson. And this is Daddy's Gone A-Hunting. Yeah, Larry Cohen co-wrote this in 1969, was it? 67, so I think, would he have been knee-deep in Invaders at that time? I don't know. Most of what I bought comes from the 60s and 70s, but I did dip in earlier, and you can't beat a little bit of John Blundell and Glenda Farrell in a very welcome double bill of Travelling Saleslady and Miss Pacific Fleet. That's going to fall, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Boys Night Out even sees Kim Novak, James Garner, and the great Tony Randall in a superb bedroom farce that hasn't really got the accolades that it deserves, but that's what many films in this stash kind of represent. Stuff that didn't really succeed on its first release, and in time I think they deserve a second look, especially this one, for example, a Norman Jewison film. Who was talking about Norman Jewison the other day? Did Norman Jewison direct the Narrow Margin? I'm completely wrong on that. I might edit that bit out. But this is Best Friends with Burt Reynolds. Again, Burt Reynolds, I have a vast Burt Reynolds section, but you can't be adding some more Burt, especially in the presence of Goldie Hawn. British one for you here. We have some Terry Thomas and Eric Sykes in Kill or Cure. Can't beat those two. And is that a Hammer film? No, it's coming. Yeah, this is a Hammer film. Believe it or not, Crescendo. Not familiar with it. Stephanie Powers and Joss Ackland, produced of course by Michael Carreras with a Jimmy Sangster screenplay. So this is the real deal. Not familiar with that. And again, another director who I kind of think I've got the vast majority of their work, and I know I have, but there's always one missing, and this is the missing piece for Brian De Palma. Wise Guys is here with Danny DeVito, Joe Piscopo, Harvey Keitel again, Ray Sharkey, and Dan Hedaya. Never seen that. I don't know if it's worth looking at. I know it kind of bombed on release, didn't it? But I'm keen for that. Need coffee this morning. Okay, final stash. I know you probably get a bit twitchy. Run through these. What do we got? We have 8 minutes. This I saw the other night. Blink. I haven't seen it since the VHS days. Directed by Michael Apted, of course. It's a standard mid-budget. I think it was 11 million budget. Standard mid-budget, mid-90s thriller. The kind of which we miss so dearly. I would love to see more of these around these days. But Blink is great. It's by far no masterpiece, but as a tense little time killer with a good, well-written story and good character actors. The great Madeline Stowe, who one of my followers said it was criminally underused by Hollywood in the 90s. It is fantastic in it. Art Carney and Lily Tomlin star in a film produced by Robert Altman, and that is The Late Show, which is a homage to the 40s detective thrillers. This film here is the other Antonio Margheriti film I got, this weird Italian sci-fi, which I can't really make head nor tail of, but we'll take a look at these and see what they're all about. We have the George Peppard, is it? Or no? Or I might be wrong on that. I thought George Peppard was in it. It's Peter Graves anyway, which is equally wonderful. Ah, that's right, yeah. This is Five Man Army. Peter Graves, with a screenplay by Dario Argento, set during the Mexican Revolution. Very cool. Another piece of spaghetti western history. This one I wasn't aware of at all. This is Hate for Hate. Antonio Sabato, John Ireland. Directed by Domenico. I want to say Paella, but I don't want to insult him, so I'm just going to pass on that. The last film by Peter Sellers. I think many people regard this as a bit of a tragedy that this was made, as he seemed pretty ill throughout the making of it. But nevertheless, here it is, the fiendish plot of Dr. Fu Manchu. Dana Andrews said prunes gave him the runes. And this is him in The Frozen Dead, a ghoulish sci-fi horror story from 1966. Andy Griffith, I think this is a TV movie, isn't it? Winter Kill. This looks pretty cool, the kind of snowbound TV movies that I kind of like, set in a ski resort. And a fresh-faced Nick Nolte to boot. Curator sees James Mason, Rod Steiger, Inga Stevens. Now, this is a guy who I've kind of been late to the party on, which is Andrew L. Stone. We got a couple of his films in last year, and this is another, so keen to see that ASAP. One of my customers, Mike, asked for this. This is Ball of Fire, so pleased to get that in for him. It's directed by, of course, Howard Hawks. We have a nice looking ticket. It's 80s coming of age film called 7 Minutes in Heaven with Jennifer Connelly, Byron Thames, Maddie Corman, and also you got a bit of Billy Worth in this as well. So that should be cool. Western comedy. Could go either way. Directed by Howard Zeef, Jeff Bridges, Andy Griffith, Donald Pleasance, and the legendary Alan Arkin. Alan Arkin's just great in everything, isn't he? Really. Robert Mitchum is Going Home. Yeah, that sounds a really grim story. He murdered his wife. And it's about his relationship with his now grown-up son, played by Jan Michael Vincent. So this looks really interesting, to be honest. Robert Duvall looks fantastic in this. The Great Santini, which I'm not familiar with in any way, but Duvall did get a nomination for Best Actor in this. David Janssen, Smile Jenny, You're Dead. TV movie, I think. Yeah, another one of those pilots that never became a TV series. So that's another one of those. Now here we go. This is the Jacques Tourneur section. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. This is Crush Groove. Stacked disc. You got music video, you got commentary. Just an iconic mid-80s movie with all kinds of cool people like Sheila E., Run DMC, Fat Boys, Curtis Blow, and introducing Blair Underwood. But yeah, this last six, we have Jacques Tourneur. As I mentioned before, we had the Blu-ray in. So just to beef up his presence in store, we have Stars in My Crown with Joel McRae and Dean Stockwell. That's that one. We have Berlin Express, which looks very cool indeed. Kind of noirish thriller with Merle Oberon, Robert Ryan, set during the Second World War, I think. Days of Glory with Gregory Peck is another Jacques Tourneur film. by RKO. Fascinating. Easy Living, Victor Mature, Lucille Ball. Looks like a slightly, it's a football drama, you wouldn't believe, from 1949. That's that one. And finally, out the Warner Archive session, Burt Lancaster and Virginia Mayo in The Flame and the Arrow, another Jacques Tourneur film. Burt Lancaster doing some swashbuckling Robin Hood style shenanigans in medieval Lombardy. So that is that. Right on time. Nice. So it's my stack of Warner Archive. I'm going to keep those in the back for now until I rejig the Warner Archive section and build that new bit over on the far side. But it's all shaping up to be really, really cool. A really cool year, I reckon. So we're going to have some fun. Like I say, it's such a diverse mix of films. I reckon that they'll feature in well in this year. And now that I've made an effort to go back to Warner Archive and pick up, say, well, we've got about 300 or 400 Warner Archive films in there. And now I can focus more perhaps on going forward and picking up each month's releases. Well, it tends to be sometimes bi-monthly with Warner Archive, isn't it, occasionally? But nevertheless, that's cool. Okay, quick. We're going to finish very quickly while a queue forms outside. Hardly. With some Sleeping Giants. This is just three. We're working our way backwards, if you remember, before Christmas. Working our way backwards from, T, S, R. I'm picking up 3 Sleeping Giants. These are films that I haven't rented in an age, but I think they might deserve some attention. So here they are. First up, it's a bold question. Is it time to go back to Pauly Shore? I'm thinking Son-in-Law. Is it time to reassess the comedic genius of Pauly Shore? Should I be offering a Son-in-Law, In the Army Now, Biodome, triple feature, 3 for a $5? Should I be doing that? I don't know. Is it time? I remember when these first came out, I thought they were just epic genius comedies. Now, I don't know. But I think we should all make an effort to revisit some Pauly Shore films this year and check if they are as bad as we first thought. I always pull up a David Mamet film here, either The Spanish Prisoner or Red Belt and things like that. Here's another for you, which probably died way too prematurely. It's State and Main, which just has a ridiculous cast of people. Here you got Alec Baldwin, Charles Durning, Clark Gregg, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Patti LuPone, William H. Macy, Sarah Jessica Parker. It's good. It's light. It's light Mamet as opposed to heavy Mamet, and it's well worth checking out. And finally, for the Sleeping Giants this week, I picked up the Sniper Movies. What are they up to now? 10? Anyway, I'm behind. I only have the first 7. But I do think, Sniper 7, Ultimate Kill. I do think that the Sniper sequels are some of the best direct-to-video action movies on the market. You've always got Billy Zane popping up, or Tom Berenger, or Chad Michael Collins, and they're good. They're decent. If you just want a non-thinking action movie that's well made, quite glossy, bit of money's been spent, then I would pick any of the Sniper movies, and heartily recommend them. But yeah, I must try and pick up Sniper 8 and 9, as I don't want to fall behind, and I know there's a vast amount of people demanding that I do that. They're not, but they should be, because the Sniper movies are fun. Anyway, it's time to go. We need to tidy up and open the door, and let the masses in to rent some movies on this wintry morning. Thank you for joining me. I hope I haven't waffled too much today, and if you're new, I hope it hasn't been a scary experience. I don't normally talk for this long, and then next week, then please join me next week for a tour again, but with a twist, as we'll be having a little walk around with the assistance of Jake. Thank you for watching, and I will see you, as always, in 7 days' time.